We have been married 41 years, and it's going to be 42 in May, so that was kind of a gift to each other.
Months of planning went into Bob and Elizabeth's Mediterranean cruise.
We wanted to have a dream vacation.
They were going to start in Rome and set sail to Sicily, Crete, Athens, and Turkey. The couple arrived in Rome and had a few hours to do some sightseeing before they boarded the ship. They had an Italian dinner, but the cuisine didn't quite sit right.
Unfortunately, the night before, or that same morning, I got an uneasy stomach, and I had several episodes.
Before the cruise line permitted the couple to board, they had to fill out this health questionnaire. The first question asked if the passengers had had flu-like symptoms in the last week. The second question asked if the person has had any symptoms of diarrhea or vomiting.
I answered yes, truthfully, because I knew it was fairly well known.
The cruise line staff denied boarding, all because he checked this little box.
He felt guilty, and at first I was a little bit mad at him for saying yes, but then I realized, well, my husband is telling the truth, and he will never say no. He will never lie, even if it has to do with something like this.
The couple says the next hours were agonizing as their ship set sail without them. They paid thousands of dollars on taxis, hotels, and flights to get home to New Mexico.
We ended up paying over $10,000 for a weekend, what turned out to be a weekend trip to Rome.
To add insult to injury, the couple had purchased travel insurance for trip interruption. When they got home, they put in a claim to recoup their losses. The insurance company denied that claim twice.
They said that they felt that because we had received a couple of certificates of travel voucher from the Caribbean cruise line, that we were adequately compensated.
The vouchers total $2,000 and they expire in 1 year. The couple is still out nearly $8,000.
I probably got very pale and shocked and stressed out, and just, it was horrible. It was horrible.
I'm feeling less than whole. I don't show that a lot, but it's hard to explain. You know, that's not the sort of thing you want to go running around saying, hey, look, I had diarrhea and now I can't board the boat.
We took Bob and Elizabeth's story to travel expert Alfred Volden of All World Travel. He says normally travel insurance protects cruise passengers, but it's important that travelers know what is and what is not covered in the plan.
Read the fine print and know exactly what you're purchasing, like anything you're doing. And if you have a question, ask the question.
Volden warns travel insurance companies have different levels of coverage, and they all have limitations and provisions of what they pay and what they won't pay.
If you could go back in time and check no on that form, would you?
I think that I would do, I'm always going to be honest, but there may be an interpretation difference.
So when are they landing?
They just landed.
Oh, can we see them? No, I don't see them. Sign? Anyone want to sign? Okay.
It got loud at the Sunport tonight as families welcomed home the champions. The young players of the Eastdale softball team were overwhelmed by a crowd that included the mayor. He greeted them with a proclamation.
Now therefore I, Richard J. Berry, Mayor of the City of Albuquerque, do hereby proclaim August 16th, 2012 as Eastdale Softball World Series Champions Day. Ladies, congratulations.
It's been an amazing week for these girls. They started off the World Series in Portland with 2 straight no-hitters, leading up to the semifinals Tuesday, broadcast for the nation to watch on ESPN2. And it all came down to last night. They beat a team from Florida 16-1.
We set the bar very high. We said ESPN 2012 was our slogan.
Coach Reno Sanchez never had any doubts. But even with their impressive record, the players say they didn't go into this knowing they would win. They just played their best.
I think the coaches had more confidence in us than we did. We didn't really know where we stood with all the teams, but I guess now we know.
And these truly humble young women still can't get over how many people were rooting for them back here at home.
Thank you so much for your support. I I really appreciate our team this.
Even for a Wednesday afternoon, Old Town had a pretty good flow of people walking through, a lot of out-of-towners like Tom Evans from Houston hitting the plaza.
It looks a lot like it used to, except it's polished up a little bit, I would say.
That's exactly what Security Captain Manny Corrales hopes tourists will notice. He says when he started contracting with the merchants 12 years ago, the area was a mess with a lot of crime. Now, Corrales says he feels good about how they have cleaned things up, but he still thinks a few more changes could boost tourism.
And put some cameras here so we can encourage people to take down the bars off the windows, make it a little bit more attractive to the tourism and to people that just come in this area.
He says high-tech cameras on every corner of the plaza, as well as up and down the streets, would monitor activity 24/7.
And a lot of the merchants that do contribute would be able to log on and look at the plaza, look at the streets, look at their front door if they want to.
But he's got to get a lot, if not all, of the merchants on board. The cost could range from $10,000 to $20,000. So what do the businesses think?
I think Old Town is much more safer than downtown or Nob Hill.
But it took some time for Ramiro Garza to come to that conclusion. He says the bars on the windows are what he first noticed when he moved here from California. Now he says he feels safe, and while he agrees the cameras can't hurt, he doesn't see the bars coming down in Old Town.
I think it gives the buildings more character.
People travel from all stretches of the globe to experience this sight. The Albuquerque twilight sky ignites with color as hundreds of balloons ascend in the crisp autumn air. But it's not just our picturesque mountainous backdrop that makes the Duke City ideal for Balloon Fiesta. It's the unique weather above that forms the coveted Albuquerque box. During the early morning hours, a layer of cold air near the surface blows toward the south. At the same time, a second layer of wind blows toward the north. During ideal conditions, this box effect allows balloons to stay within the vicinity of where they took off.
Now, for example, when a pilot first takes off from Balloon Fiesta Park, the wind will push him toward the south. But as he starts to eventually gain altitude, like you see here, that second layer of wind will push him back north toward the park. Now, if he wants to have fun, he can make the balloon move in a box pattern by going from south back to north over and over again.
This keeps balloons from wandering into dangerous territory near the airport south of town. So this Balloon Fiesta, you can feast your eyes on both the man-made and the natural, putting on one of the best shows on Earth.